Though there are many who prefer their games to be accessible, there are also those who really like to challenge themselves. Often, some titles satisfy those needs by themselves, but more often than not, games end up giving players options in case they want something really challenging, options that they present as rewards. Finishing a game and then playing it again on a newly unlocked harder difficulty isn't something that everyone enjoys, that's for sure, but there's a certain appeal to it as well. In this feature, we'll be taking a look at some games that feature some truly grueling, unlockable harder difficulties. Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 2 came out in Europe a few months after it did elsewhere, but players got a pretty sweet reward for their patience in the form of European Extreme difficulty. Even harder than regular Extreme, European Extreme gave players 0 rations throughout the game, buffed up enemies so that they could essentially deliver one-hit kills, especially the bosses, and made it so that if you ever broke stealth and alerted an enemy, it was game over for you. Ace Combat 4. Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies introduced not one, but 2 new harder difficulty settings. And while Expert was a pretty challenging experience all in all, the difficulty we're concerned with here is Ace. Unlocked only once you complete the game on Expert, which is no cakewalk to begin with, Ace difficulty is a proper test of all the skills the game teaches you, and many that it doesn't. Soul Calibur 6. Soul Calibur 6 allows players to play on one of 5 difficulty settings, but the hardest of the lot, Legendary, is locked, and unlocking it is no easy task. To do so, not only do you have to clear the very hard difficulty, you have to do it with a gold rating, which means your completion time has to be less than 12 minutes. Yeah, not a particularly easy task. Cuphead. Cuphead can be a maddeningly difficult game without having to unlock anything. It's, dare I say, the Dark Souls of... let's not go there. But it is a very challenging and as such satisfying game. If, however, you have a streak and want to play something that's even more punishing, or even more fun depending on how you look at it, Cuphead also offers an unlockable expert difficulty option after completing the game once, and it definitely lives up to its name. Dead Space Trilogy. Each Dead Space game has some pretty interesting unlockable difficulties. Dead Space 1 offers the impossible difficulty once you beat the game, and is the most standard of all 3. There's Dead Space 2's hardcore difficulty, which only allows you to save a total of 3 times throughout the entire game. Finally, Dead Space 3's hardcore mode kicks things up another notch. You only get 1 life, and if you die, and it's game over for you. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Machine Games' Wolfenstein titles tend to have some very good unlockable harder difficulties, with Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus taking the cake in that area. If you manage to complete the game on the I Am Death Incarnate setting, which is the second hardest difficulty, you then unlock the Mein Leben difficulty. This disables saves altogether, and also enables permadeath. So no saves and just 1 life? That's a deadly combination. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Metroid games can be more than just a little challenging when they want to be, but often they let players go for something even more grueling with unlockable difficulty settings. For instance, there's Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, which, upon completion of the game, unlocks the Hyper Mode, which is something that Retro went on to include in the Metroid Prime Trilogy compilation as well. Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing isn't exactly the Dark Souls of kart racers. Are you annoyed yet? In that it's far from the toughest game you'll ever play, but you can, if you want, turn it into a more challenging experience. Finish the Adventure mode once and you unlock Adventure 2, which dials up the difficulty of enemy AI, while also putting silver coins in areas that are harder to reach. The Wonderful 101. The Wonderful 101 is a little different from most other games on this list because it has not 1 but 2 unlockable harder difficulties. There's your regular hard mode, which is unlocked once you've beaten the game, but if you want to take things even further, you can do that too. Beat the entire game on hard mode and you'll unlock the even more challenging 101% hard mode. Doom 2016. Doom 2016's highest available difficulty setting, which is the Ultra Nightmare mode, doesn't need you to finish the game on the second highest difficulty. Finish the game once on Hurt Me Plenty or anything above it, and Ultra Nightmare is unlocked, and boy does it live up to its name. There's 0 saves and checkpoints in the entire campaign on this setting, while you also only get 1 life. Mega Man Zero Series. Mega Man Zero has a regular harder difficulty setting that you can unlock by finishing the game once, but its sequels make things a bit more interesting. Collect all Cyber Elves in Mega Man Zero 2, all secret discs in Mega Man Zero 3, and all enemy parts in Mega Man Zero 4, and you unlock the ultimate difficulty in each of them. Diablo 3. Diablo games are pretty much built around the idea of replaying them over and over on progressively harder difficulty settings, so this is a bit of an obvious choice. Diablo 3, in its current post-Reaper of Souls state, comes with normal, hard, and expert unlocked. Either destroy Diablo or get to level 60 to unlock Master difficulty. Meanwhile, getting to level 60 also unlocks Torment difficulty, which, in turn, has more than a dozen tiers of its own. Pokémon Black 2 and White 2. Pokémon games in the mainline series have never had difficulty options, but Black and White 2 are the outliers here, or well, at least Black 2 does. It contains a challenge mode which makes trainer Pokémon higher leveled, while also giving gym leaders several buffs, such as new movesets, the ability to use held items, and giving their teams an extra Pokémon each. Mass Effect. Yet another game that has more than one unlockable harder difficulty. Mass Effect isn't exactly the most challenging game, but it does offer you a chance to progressively ramp up the challenge on each new playthrough. Complete it once and you unlock the Hardcore difficulty setting. Complete it on Hardcore and you unlock Insanity, and that one is definitely hard. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance unlocks the critical mode once you've beaten the game, and it presents a pretty tough challenge. You deal half damage, you take double damage, while the game also throws in other hurdles, such as bosses activating desperation moves earlier and enemies flinching less often. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.